To Pavel and Maria, aunt to Grace and Ayana, sister-in-law to my wife, Sarah and I. Ivana peacefully passed at her home on August 18th. Recording in progress. In her last months and last days, we witnessed an extra abundance of love and support, which is a testament of who Ivana was, the life she created. Many and most of us have been blessed in this room and zooming in with having experienced Ivana along her journey. And today we will hear from many of you in the spirit of celebrating who she was. When I think of my sister-in-law, these words come to mind. Unruffled, a wise, steady hand, quiet and behind the scenes, but nonetheless strong, knowing, strategic, and practical, loving. I'm a direct witness of what I call a true love story between my brother and Ivana. An important part of that story is the music. Just a sample. Coming up. I told myself I was not going to make too many jokes here, but go ahead. Yeah, there we go. Good. Ivana introduced that beat. And the beats were constant at the house, in the car. They had a shared love for the art of music and the pleasure it gave to those in earshot. It seeped into my life and my kids' life in many ways, which is just one of the many gifts from this special woman. At this time, I'd like to call up a dear friend, Anna, and Helen, a very special family member, to give the eulogy.
Hello. Anna and I are honored to share some words about Ivana's life today. While it's the two of us speaking here, we've had a lot of help from people who loved Ivana very dearly, so thank you all. South End is my home, Ivana used to say. But truly, she was a world citizen. Born in the former Czechoslovakia, Ivana moved to Sweden at 9 years of age, spending her childhood in Gothenburg. Later, at the University of Gothenburg, Ivana studied international business administration with a minor in Spanish. Before she graduated, she took a one-year sabbatical to work at the Swedish trade office in Madrid, where she discovered that Spaniards' love of food and partying complemented her own interests quite well. That marked the start of her traveling and living abroad. She embraced Spanish living in Madrid and then Santiago, Chile. She embraced French in Annecy. She then moved to the United States, where she first lived in Boston, moved to New York City for a couple of years, ultimately returning here to Boston. There she became roommates with Helen, not me, Helen Bergendahl, Anna, and Lisa, the women who together with Karen, Matilda, and Vivi would become her lifelong friends. She also met her future husband and the love of her life, Sheldon, at the Franklin Cafe in the South End. Fun fact, she was initially more interested in Sheldon's friend, but Sheldon, cool as a cucumber, only needed a few days and a little strategic maneuvering to win her over. Mila and Corey, your mother has exposed you to other cultures and languages throughout your lives, making sure, for example, that both Swedish and Spanish were part of your upbringing. And she's given you the gift of her independent spirit to carry with you, as you already do, whether navigating foreign countries or right here in your own city.
Who, instead of a driver's license, gets a skydiving license? Well, Ivana did, because she was always fierce. Thank you. She did so at the age of 16 and completed over 60 jumps internationally, including one in Mexico, where she overheard the locals commenting on how there's no way a woman would jump solo. She proved them all wrong, displaying what would be one of her defining characteristics. To doubt Ivana meant you would be proven wrong, and not because she would tell you so, because she would show you so. But her love for mischief started much earlier. While her unsuspecting parents, Marie and Pavel, concentrated on establishing their family in a brand new country, Ivana focused on using her new culture to her advantage. She promptly told them that in Sweden, homework is strictly forbidden, and managed to get away with it for over a year. Ivana was always up for an adventure, from skiing in the French Alps, surfing in Tarifa, swimming with sharks in Thailand, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, or dancing in the carnivals in Rio and Trinidad. Those adventures continued with Sheldon, including their milestone trip to Machu Picchu, and then traveling with a family, who as you may know, she called the unit, making sure you guys, thank you again, explored the world together, visiting Sweden, backpacking in Colombia, surfing in Costa Rica, hunting frogs in the pond in New Hampshire, or chilling at the beaches in Martha's Vineyard. Your mother passed along her passion for traveling to both of you, Corey and Mila.
Carbonite, ClickTech, Help Scout. You may have heard of these tech companies, but nobody had when Ivana was part of the starting team that put them on track for success. Ivana's first job in Boston was as a consultant for Arthur D. Little. Then in 2000, Lisa convinced her to take a risk by resigning from her job in the corporate world to join a small startup and move to New York City, where she introduced the company to the US market. ClickTech took off, while her previous company, Arthur D. Little, ended up filing for bankruptcy. ClickTech also sparked her interest in digital marketing, giving her the ability to flex her creativity and use her analytical skills. In Ivana's own words, give me a spreadsheet and I'm in heaven. In 2006, Ivana joined the Boston-based startup Carbonite as the director of marketing, the very first hire on that marketing team. Carbonite was one of the earliest subscription-based software companies for consumers, and there she was tasked with not just growing the company, but also growing the team. Ivana was far ahead of the times and developed a marketing strategy to send users messages based on their profiles and actions, which back then required a lot of technical acumen. In typical Ivana style, she put in the effort to do things the right way and got the results to show for it. She left shortly before the company went public, having helped it grow it from nothing to a business generating over $100 million in annual revenue. In 2012, Ivana joined Help Scout as their VP of marketing. As the founder's first hire, she helped them create a business plan and build the team and define and execute their marketing strategy. But Ivana was an analyst at heart and emphasized a content-based strategy where she dove deep into things like persona development and search engine optimization to attract and acquire new customers. She was also instrumental in helping secure Help Scout Series A investments in 2015 and growing the company profitably. Ivana brings herself to everything she does, and it was at Help Scout that she introduced the entire team to Fika Fridays, a tradition based on the concept of Swedish coffee dates where remote employees would be paired up to get to know one another. After leaving Help Scout, Ivana decided to prioritize spending more quality time with her family, and began to work as a consultant for several Nordic companies.
Ivana was the center of every team she was part of, a natural leader who motivated all those around her. Some friends waited on Ivana's presence in the workplace. According to Jess, Ivana was confident, steady, and methodical. She tackled every challenge with her signature grace. She was an island of sanity and maturity in the complete chaos of building an early-stage startup. In Agatha's words, Ivana was a smart ass. But even more, she was a complete badass. Working with her was both intimidating and inspiring. This was a woman who never met a problem she couldn't solve, who got things done while everyone else was still standing around and talking. Mila and Corey, I recently shared with a friend of Ivana's, you know who you are, that Ivana considered her the smartest person she knew. I was met with the answer, and I quote, "Trust me, I got the better end of the deal when it came to working together."
Cool, classy, and stylish will always define Ivana. Her friend Cindy said it best, and I quote, "Ivana was undoubtedly the coolest mom in the South End. She would arrive at school drop-off, exuding a zen-like demeanor, an enigma, this tall, beautiful, lithe creature who was always effortlessly chic and hip, like she had just been awakened by her gorgeous children, Mila and Corey, tousled her hair, and calmly meandered out the door, kids in tow." Ivana's passion for music, which you've already heard a little bit about, and I won't be surprised if we hear about it again, was another hallmark of her coolness. Tunes are always playing in the unit's East Concord apartment. Etta James, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu. Are you seeing a theme here? But Ivana didn't discriminate. Men were welcome too. Bill Withers, Stevie Wonder, Method Man, current and past artists, Ivana's life had a constant playlist in the background, and off in the foreground, like when she and Sheldon used to spin as DJ Snowflake and DJ Spada. I'll leave it to you to figure out who was who.
Girlie, you were the best friend. You changed the lives of many of us. Because it's so hard to read this, I'm just going to quote. From Bibi, "Ivana, you showed me that being independent, strong, and having great friendships looked like. In New York, we had grown together without fully understanding how much until it was time to part." Quoting from Matilda, "Ivana enriched my life with so many new perspectives over the years. In addition to all the concerts we went to, the unexpected restaurants and clubs we went to in New York, and the countries we explored together, she, and of course Sheldon, were the reason I met George. Ivana will stay forever in my heart." Quoting from Maria, "You are an amazing friend, Ivana, always positive, inspiring, and always interesting to talk, both when it comes to fashion, always so elegant, as well as deeper subjects, and you were always up for new adventures." Quoting from Karin, "Without you in my life, Ivana, I would not have had any beautiful pictures of my kids. You had such an amazing eye. As you put it in a letter to me and Derek when you were in Amsterdam, I miss you in my life." Quoting from Agatha, "Ivana was the person to turn to whether you needed advice, a kick in the ass, or just a quiet moment. She was a rock for me, and so many others." Quoting from Lisa, I'm getting to the end. "Lisa was my person, Ivana was my person. Somehow we were the opposite of each other, and this is why I think we were such a good match. We had the same sense of humor, we shared the same birthday. The best birthday, was probably when we went, can I say it? Skinny dipping at Black Beach, Cape Cod around lunchtime in bright daylight." And from me, in a nutshell, Ivana, you left us a short leaf of life advice. Always have a plan B. Don't overthink. Shit happens. Remember to have boundaries. Beyond all that, Ivana, you could read people. And you did so with that magic combination of being non-judgmental and thoughtful, with your magnetic aura. And you were so much fun. It always felt a privilege to be your friend.
Above all else, Ivana cared about family. Sheldon, Mila, and Corey meant the world to her. Her greatest joy, her shining achievement. You three were her center and her home. In closing, and in Ivana's own words, onwards and upwards.
Hi, I'm Ivana's sister, younger by 6 years. Everyone gathered here has their own unique memories of Ivana. The one thing I can confidently say, each of us have become a better person for having known her. We have been blessed, inspired by her remarkable personality, her wit, and her charisma. Thank you. My sister was a woman of many talents and virtues. However, the first word that comes to my mind when I think of her is inspirational. As a young assembly, I looked up to her and idolized her. And rightly so. She was adventurous, fearless, curious, caring, and compassionate. Her sense of humor was legendary, as was her level-headedness. She embraced life fully and never passed up an opportunity to try and learn something new. She viewed challenges not as obstacles, but as new possibilities, to be dealt with zest and determination. I adored her. We all did. And although she herself is no longer with us, her spirit and memory will stay with us forever. And we will carry the imprint of her soul in our hearts, where it will blossom and remind us of how fragile and beautiful life truly is. Where it will remind us to cherish our loved ones whilst we still can, to say those words of affirmation and affection, to show them our tenderness and love before it's too late. Ivana, I love you, and I wish I had told you that more often.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for coming today in honor of our mom. And I'd like to welcome my dad, Sheldon Lloyd, to the stage.
Whoa. I'm going to be reading off a phone. Thank you all for coming. A queen has fallen, but she has left us so much. And if you didn't know it already, I married up. I don't know why some of you guys are laughing. They say love comes with pain. This is Ivana and Sheldon's first pain. And Ivana and I complement each other. We thought alike, we flowed alike. Our yin and yang one was an extrovert and the other was an introvert. But we worked, we got it on. There was ease, flow, interest, extracurriculars matched. We didn't have to grapple over time. We went on adventures, travels. She tested me, and I passed. She so much enjoyed the South End, it reminded her of New York and Europe. She mostly enjoyed meals with friends and family, arts, design, music, film. She was a minimalist. She bought what she loved, not what was on sale.
It took several years to figure out what was ailing Ivana. Multiple system atrophy, a rare disease, of course. This cruel disease took her independence, but it also showed her how much she was loved. And she had to meet all that love. And she did it, her way. And for those who missed her last year, know that this past year she spent time in the beginning traveling, finishing home design projects, setting me straight. And in the last months of her mobility, as she became more limited, she spent time in the beautiful Blackstone and Franklin Square parks and evenings with the family, eating takeout from her faves, drinking wine, eating popcorn, watching the Celtics, the World Cup, and some of this great pandemic TV. She loved the arrival of her new pup, Lumi, who seemed to have the spirit of the family, stubborn, smart, and easy on the eyes. Today is about love. You know, this room is filled with it. And she and I appreciate you all. More than you know. I'm going to share something I wrote in the thick of things, when you probably all, or many of you, were wondering like how I was doing or how we were doing. It's from the gut and it's from the heart. So it's a little gritty, sorry. Ivana, to Ivana, my love, my soulmate. What does that mean? Real partner? Flow together like no other? Like Bonnie and Clyde, like the Long Ranger and Tonto? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? Will I be lost? Can I maintain? Can I raise them? It's not fair, but what is? Look at the news. Look at others. Look at war. Our capacity to live, celebrate, love, cry, think, feel are also connected. This is all connected in some strange way. What do I do? What do I think about? I just move forward. With pain and emotion, it's like you're sick. In your head, it paralyzes you. It makes you want to curl up in a ball or fight. Future, will it be the pursuit of happiness? What will make the pain go away? Tear of the heart, flush of the soul, just sucks. Sometimes I don't know what to feel or do. It's like I'm not in my body sometimes. I just look through people. I just look dazed, like I'm not listening. Sometimes it's too much to process, like something was about to happen. Life was too good. So pain and suffering is part of that circle with happiness and joy, love and hate, all again connected. It seems you can't have one without the other. So this is our pain. Suffering and loss, it balances the table. Seems that we were not supposed to live high above loss, but together will bring you in between a level of neither. Between joy and sorrow is the level of being. Mortals, I must get up, move forward now. You are my always. You don't realize until some things are going to be gone. You don't appreciate fully sometimes what you have, especially her strength or your strength and your bravery, Ivana. And I see your strength has come from your past. And as I believe, pain of loss will be the strength of our children. Thank you.
We will now hear from those friends and families who reached out earlier to share. As each begins, they will introduce themselves and their relationship to Ivana. I believe my father is starting. Doctor.
Jeez, all this fine equipment up here, and I have paper, handwritten paper. This is a memory of Ivana, and she's another one of the daughters I didn't have. Ivana loved plants, especially flowering plants. And when Sheldon and Ivana moved to East Concord Street, their condo had good space and not so great light. But she immediately went about to fill spaces of the house with wonderful plants and went on. But as I observed, the plants were struggling for survival. So I suggested in my unpernicious kind of way and hinted that perhaps she didn't possess the green thumb. And perhaps select a more suitable hobby or interest was the best for this. Ivana looked straight into my eyes, and I personally could see those brows rising and that special smile that we all too well are familiar with crossed her face. At that moment, she politely dismissed me entirely. Obviously for a good reason. But, however, before long, the plant problem was solved. And simply selecting plants that were suitable for the condo's condition, she selected the snake plant, the succulents, and other beautiful flowering plants that did not require a whole lot of light and made the apartment, all of the rooms, so beautiful. Ivana was a master problem solver, which was among her many, many talents. She was cool, wonderful smile that she had, knew just how to use it and when. She was generous, always being, and this will always be for us, such happy memories of who she was. Ivana, we love you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pilar Castro, and I was Ivana's sister-in-law. It was a hot, cloudless summer day on Martha's Vineyard when I first met her. She was tall, lean, toned, and her blonde hair glistened in the island sun. Few words were spoken, but I immediately felt drawn to her. She wasn't overly friendly. She didn't have to be. Her poise, her self-assurance, and her strength were a silent beckoning to my soul's longing for such inner qualities. She must have liked me too, because the next day, a more overt invitation ensued. Ivana invited me on a bike ride. We mounted our bikes, and before I could ask my first question, Ivana was about 10 yards ahead of me. My short legs pedaled fast, trying to catch up as her long legs effortlessly moved. About 3 hours later, we finally reached our destination. She coolly said, "Good job." We couldn't go any slower. Otherwise, it would get dark, and we still have to ride back. I believe that a life is not too short if it is lived fully and fearlessly. I am a witness that Ivana lived her life in such a way. She worked arduously in her profession. She was very pregnant with Mila and still traveling to California on business trips. Side note, I hate flying. Ivana loved turbulence. One morning, she casually shared with me that on her last trip to California, she almost got hit by a city bus. "Oh God, Ivana," I remarked with concern, my anxiety rising as I heard her story. "Maybe you should go on maternity leave already." She stoically answered, "I'm fine, Pilar. I didn't get hit." While keeping a very demanding job, she seamlessly managed a household. She lovingly parented Mila and Corey, and she supported Sheldon. Let me pause here, folks. Let's talk about how Ivana loved Sheldon. Ivana loved Sheldon, but she didn't sweat him. Sorry, Shel, that's a fact, bro. I had the privilege of caring for Ivana towards the end of her life's journey here on Earth. Let me let you in on a big secret. The entire time, she was really taking care of me. And this could not have been more evident than in the last time that I saw her. It came in the form of an unexpected visit that I made to her house. I was going through a difficult time. As I entered her dim-lit room, she was resting on her bed. "What's wrong?" she whispered with effort. There was concern in her glossy blue eyes as she ignored her own physical discomfort. But before I could get my first word out, I simply fell into her fragile arms and I wept. I wept for me, I wept for her, and I wept for life changing, and I wept for the inevitability of what was to come. Finally, I pulled away. I think I was getting quite heavy on her. And I fearfully asked, "Ivana, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be here to tell you that it's okay for you to let go because everything is going to be fine." She wittingly replied, "I may be sick, but I'm not stupid." I know everything is not going to be okay. This sucks. We laughed hard. Then I told her my drama, and in true Ivana fashion, she gave me sound advice that I still follow today. My friend Eva, as I love to call her, faced her challenges with strength, dignity, humor, and elegance. She led the way, she set the pace, and got us home, much like that epic bike ride on Martha's Vineyard Island 19 years ago. I love you, Eva. I miss you. I am striving to live like you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matilda. I'm one of Ivana's friends, met her here in Boston, but I live in Sweden. I'm going to be reading a poem, and I'm going to start reading it in Swedish and then my own translation in English. It's called Saknad. Så liten plats en människa tar på jorden, mindre än ett träd i skogen. Så stort tomrum hon lämnar efter sig. En hel värld kan inte fylla det. Så litet ett människas hjärta är, inte större än en fågel, rymmer ändå hela världen, och tomma rymder större än hela världen. Ändlösa tomma rymdskogar av tystnad sång. It's called Missing. Such tiny space a human takes up here on earth, smaller than a tree in the forest. Such emptiness she leaves behind, a whole world cannot fill it. Such tiny a human heart, not larger than a bird, it still holds the whole world. An empty void, greater than the whole world. Endless empty forests of silenced songs. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Henry Reinhardt. I'm a friend of the family from New York City. And just before I begin, I just want to say to Weldon that Corey and I were in his room the other day admiring all of his housekeeping and talking about in great detail the care of the plants. And each of the plants was placed in a beautiful pool of light that lit it gorgeously in the afternoon sun. So I'll help keep an eye on that as well. I'm here today to honor my friend DJ Snowflake and to support her loving family and all of us as friends. Sheldon, aka DJ Spada, and I can tell you about that later if you like. Mila and Corey, Weldon and Pat, Glenn, Sarah, Grace, and Ayana. Recently, at a very challenging point in my life, I said to myself, it is not only what we go through, it's who we go through it with. Never more true than this moment with this woman with this illness. By any measure, our shared love of Ivana, our shared loss of Ivana is painful. But at least for me, her passing also has revealed how vital her family, her friends, and her bonds are, even as we gather to mourn the passing of her bodily form. Not long ago, I was hanging out at the house with the family, and as usual, there was a lot of smack talk and smiles, gentle kidding and good humor, certainly a lot of great music. And Ivana was relaxing on the couch and smiling as she watched us in the kitchen goof around, as young people and their father and friends do. So I went over to sit with her and asked her why she was smiling. And she said quietly, "It makes me so happy to see my family play with my friends." At moments like this, we are well served to remember we are all blessed by community. And all of us share that we were blessed by Ivana's presence in our lives. We continue to be blessed by Ivana's amazing family, her devoted friends, and all of our personal and shared memories of her. Now, after this weekend, we are all further blessed by our memories of this time together and by this magical place. We are all blessed to be friends of DJ Snowflake.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to do my best, so bear with me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marcellus, and Sheldon is one of my oldest and dearest friends, going back to our high school days at Sharon. It's been an honor and a privilege to have shared so many of life's adventures and blessings with him over all these years. And today, I share his loss and his grief as well. Weddings and funerals are the two events that always bring loved ones together. And I am thankful for all the love that surrounds us here today. It feels like just yesterday when so many of us came together to witness and celebrate Sheldon and Ivana's wedding, and so bittersweet that we are all gathered here today on such a somber, solemn occasion. I want to share with all of you the story that I told when I toasted Sheldon and Ivana on their wedding day